On September 26, 2024, Hurricane Helene made landfall on the Florida Gulf Coast as a Category 4 hurricane. From there, the storm cut a devastating path to the southern Appalachians, carrying strong winds that damaged property and blew down trees and power lines. After Helene, nearly 5 million customers were without power across the southeastern United States.
Electrical workers from across the country converged on the hardest hit areas.
We've got people working around the clock.
Travis Smith is a lineman who was called to restore power to customers along the Florida Gulf Coast. A lineman is an electrician who installs, maintains, and repairs electrical power lines and equipment. They often deal with heights, extreme weather conditions, and high voltage electricity, all to provide power to communities. During a storm response, they endure long hours and spend weeks away from family.
I'm going off little to no sleep. Woke up, I got called in 1:30 last Thursday morning. I really don't know what day it is now, but I've barely seen my wife and kids.
It took weeks to fully restore most of the power to areas affected by Helene, but some linemen in the Carolinas refer to Hurricane Hugo in 1989 as one of the most challenging power restorations of their careers.
Yeah, a veteran of that storm now uses the knowledge he gained working in Hugo's aftermath to train the next generation of linemen. Reporter Mary King shows us how he's inspiring them to keep climbing.
They're not typical sounds or sights from a high school classroom.
And what we'll do is you'll come down from the top of the pole.
And this is not your typical lesson.
Make sure you got all your tools in your tool pouch.
But it's one instructor Don Hamrick could probably do in his sleep.
Still love it today. 46 years of it, still love it.
Hamrick worked for Duke Energy for almost 40 years and retired in 2019. Now he teaches the utility line worker program to high school seniors at York One's Floyd D. Johnson Technology Center. It's a one-of-a-kind partnership between York Technical College, York District 1, and Clover Schools.
These guys can just go to work for about anybody. There's nothing, they can't show them anything that I hadn't showed them out here.
Hamrick's love for the trade is something that grew even in the midst of nature's biggest challenges.
Hurricane Hugo, yes, remember it very well. The wind was just whipping and you could see line fuses, you could hear line fuses blowing and you could see big arcs in the sky where the wire was getting together.
As the storm ravaged the Charlotte area, Hamrick, who was stationed in Shelby, says there wasn't much they could do until it stopped.
Then, it was just total chaos everywhere. Wires down, we had transmission lines down. And so it took us probably about 2 weeks to get Shelby, get everybody back on.
Hamrick was then sent to Charlotte to help.
Oh, we worked anywhere from 10 to 12 hours a day. Some days we would work 13, 14 hours a day. Didn't see the family for 4 weeks, but that's part of it. That's part of being a lineman. The biggest impact that Hugo had on me was just helping people, getting people's fire back on and, people being so appreciated.
Now, 35 years later, Hamrick's heart to serve is part of what he's passing on to students like Andrew Jordan.
A lot of people say I'm in it for the money. I'm just in it for the money, and I want to be in it for the people. Not only that, and just making sure everyone gets back power and all that.
Industry professionals say it can take up to 5 years to complete the education and training necessary to become a lineman, all depending on the path you take. I know both of us have been without power for many days and value what those linemen do. They are heroes after storms.
So grateful for their sacrifice, and they leave their families, he said, for weeks at a time.
4 weeks after Hugo, you
Yeah.
can see them. Wow.